let's talk about your experience thus far in the Infuse program. So, can you give me just sort of a broad overview of what your experience has been in the few weeks that you've been a part of this?
Certainly. So yes, we did just finish a singing lesson, and so I've had a couple, and they've been absolutely gorgeous, unlocking new sounds, of course, but particularly new sensations. I've really enjoyed the cues that both yourself and Stephanie have given me in terms of alignment, in particular. The return on investment of those ideas has been really, really spectacular. So thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's been terrific, and always applicable. I leave the lessons not thinking, oh great, now I have to wait a couple of weeks before I can make any improvement. I've got tools that now if I'm in my car and I'm singing scales on the way to something, I think, oh, how about I get that tongue root up and forward? So yeah, my least favorite vowels have become my favorite to play with. So that's fun. But particularly with the career coaching, it's been terrific to move away from having aspirational ADHD, which I think is a coin that we talked about,
Mm.
and thinking, no, these are the things I care about and why. And thank you for your grace and warmth as I was speaking to you about those dreams and thinking, oh, now that I'm allowing myself to explore particular things, uh, they sing to me a little more, and I can be quite proud about thinking, no, this is what I have to offer, and it's important that I do. So being able to have that conversation with you has been very good and has helped me chip away at the expedient in my life rather than
Mm.
thinking I merely have to be busy. It's it's also a thing of self-respect. It's like, no, I also have to be efficient and productive. And part of that is boiling those dreams down to their essence, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh gosh, that may have sounded like a lot of waffle, but that's been my experience to date.
Good. Yeah. Well, one of the things that we had talked about too was you have a lot of things that you want to accomplish, right? You have a lot of, you said aspirational ADHD, like you have this you want to do, and you have this you want to do, and you have this you want to do, and recognizing that you can do all of those things, but not all at the same time, right?
Mhm.
And so, kind of creating a timeline of those events, it seemed like that that provided some clarity to kind of like, okay, I can focus on this one thing right now and get that done, and then I'll move on to the next one. Um, how has that been manifesting so far? In because you mentioned a few minutes ago, you mentioned that you've had some pretty cool developments in your career just recently.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's funny that you use the word manifest. It seems a little woo woo, but I can only speak to my experience. After we kind of set some clearer goals as opposed to being vague and broad. Uh, Within a week of our first career coaching, I was, now that we're recording this part, this isn't actually fully public, but I'll be in a two-hander opera, which is going to be terrific and something completely new for me, very much aligned with the goal that we set. And I've also been invited to take part in uh, getting people in the room speaking so that we can organize some corporate entertainment in the beautiful outdoors of Christchurch, New Zealand. And that all just came within a week of our first coaching. And uh, immediately, that's very exciting. But I think more importantly, in the long term, it means that I can really um, set roots down here in Christchurch and be happy that there's going to be a lot of artistic expression and ability to coach others myself and to facilitate performance work for other artists, as well as
Mm-hmm.
having opportunities to sing myself. And all three of those things are very important to me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, and so it had those opportunities presented themselves to you a month ago. How would your reaction have been? Would you have had the same reaction that you do now towards those?
Yeah, knowing myself as I do, had those opportunities come a month ago, I probably would have given into overwhelm and despair. We're thinking, oh, this is too much. I can't possibly do all of this right now. Whereas as those opportunities have presented themselves, having set down a bit more of a framework for my goals and with a timeline, it's like, not only is this achievable, it's one, it's happening, and two, there's now this positive pressure to say, because this is happening, what do I need to let go of? And being happy about letting things go. Because in the past, I've been in this terrible place of, oh, an opportunity. Oh gosh, I'm too exhausted and stressed out to make anything of them. Whereas now it's kind of like, oh, things are resting upon me and being given to me. So the world and people are being generous to me. I guess I'll follow suit and be generous with my time and making the most of it rather than acting from a place of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. We talked kind of about, vocally you're doing some cool things. You just made some really awesome progress in a voice lesson, um, popping out some awesome A flats and whatnot. What do you feel like has been sort of uh, the mindset shift that has stuck out to you the most?
That not only does making art matter, but that it's actually very important. And that if you are going to getting in the way of yourself living out your artistic expression is ultimately selfish. Because, if that is the best and the most precious thing in you, or one of the best and most precious things in you, I think it's somewhat your human responsibility and obligation to live out of that place instead of pushing it to the sideline. And that's been the biggest mindset thing. It's rather than thinking this is an external shiny thing that I sometimes do with my life. It's like, no, I'm an artistic and creative human being, and if I want to show up as fully as I can in my personal relationships or in my other work, I need to live in that sparkly place. Think, no, that's my essence, and I will be of the most service to my fellow human and community and myself by living from that creative heart. That's been the
Mm-hmm.
biggest shift. It's like this isn't fancy and outside. It's actually my foundation, and it makes life a terrific adventure.
Yeah, that's your why, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You found your why. You do what you do,
Yeah.
and without that, it's hard to know what direction you should go, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to stay moving in a direction when you don't have the motivation or the reason to continue doing that. If you do have that reason that's at the foundation, like you said, then all of a sudden it's like, well, now I have purpose to do this, and a reason to make things happen when it seems like there's resistance potentially, or when there's not even resistance, but like it's like you mentioned, like overwhelm. If there's too much being thrown at me, how do I make it all happen? Why am I doing this in the first place? Um, and what do I let go of? Because all of these things are important, but then if you realize, okay, this is not serving my why, I can let go of that and be okay with it. So
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's awesome. Any other just general thoughts on your experience in the program so far?
It's somewhat connected, but it's, I'll express it a different way. Celebrating interest that is kind of para around, just performance art or just teaching, and then rather than feeling bad about having different interests and thinking, oh, I can't do both, developing more of a sense of curiosity about how I can intertwine those things has been very useful and a result of our career coaching. Thank you. I'm very interested in, the flow state and peak performance. And so I have this copy of a terrific book, The Art of Impossible by Steve Kotler. And I've been just, cheekily sharing that around with some of my cast mates.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's sort of that overarching dream of bringing more flow psychology into the performing arts, which is a long-term dream. It's like, no, you can actually do that right now.
Yeah.
Uh, that's been very cool. So that's another
Yeah.
thing I'd like to share.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So what last question, what's the thing that you are the most excited about for for what what you are planning to accomplish, what the thing that you are working towards that you are the most excited about for the next couple of months.
Oh, oh gosh, the most exciting. I'm a pretty excitable person. You may have gathered. The most exciting thing of this two-hand opera, and just releasing the fear and inferiority complex, like, oh, I can't possibly sing all that music, to know, no, no, I've been given this opportunity by people who trust me for a reason, and I look forward to embodying that rather than wasting energy thinking, oh, no, 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 they've picked the wrong person. So I'm really excited to continue smashing those walls down, and then to get to the promised land on the other side.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking through your experience with me, and we're excited to keep rocking and rolling and moving upward and onward with you. Got some
can't wait.
exciting stuff in your future here.
Thank you.